Hi, my name's David Woodward. I'm a lyric tenor from Sydney, and I'm currently living in Perth, and I studied at Whopper, and I'm singing Alfredo in Die Fledermaus for WA Opera.
And I'm Katja. I'm a soprano from Perth, studied at Whopper as well, and I'm doing Rosalinda in Die Fledermaus. I've sung for as long as I can remember. My mother used to sing in amateur shows, and they used to rehearse in our front lounge room, and I used to sneak out of bed when I was about 4 years old. And as long as I didn't wake up my sister or my dad didn't notice me, I was allowed to sit in on rehearsals and watch. And ever since then, I've wanted to perform and sing. I studied here in Perth, so I've got quite a few people in Perth and in Australia that definitely inspire me. All of the voice teachers that I've had have been wonderful. And I spent a year studying in London as well. Being able to sing, support myself in singing, I don't have to be the greatest or the most amazing singer, just to be able to sing and communicate my love of opera and the art form to audiences, and hopefully inspire some people who would never consider even going to opera to just try it, see what it's like, and maybe we'll convert a few people. There's a big trend away from the traditional productions towards updating them or doing sort of strange things with them, taking the storyline and the music, but then instead of doing them in the 1700s or the 1800s or wherever they were originally set, and then bringing them into modern times or into the future or during the Second World War and things like that. And it's fascinating to see some operas it works really well with, and others it totally falls flat. And it's always part of the interest in going to a new production and just seeing what has the director done with this and what bits work and what bits don't.
I think they're trying to make it more accessible for people who may not go to the opera every week or every through the year. And like with WA Opera, the Opera in the Park, it's set for 18,000 people to come along and watch it. And people who may not buy a ticket normally can come along, bring their picnic, their wine, whatever they like, and enjoy a light opera, which is quite funny, which is what we're doing, Die Fledermaus. The day after Die Fledermaus, I'm moving to Sydney because I got into Opera Australia Chorus for 10 months, which is quite exciting, and I'll be singing in Melbourne and in Sydney for that, and I'm going to Vienna in May because I kind of got into a Masters of Opera there, so I just got to go back and formally audition. My first singing teacher back in New South Wales, just through her connections, and I made contact with people at the con, and I went and sang there informally while I was on holidays. We were in Paris and all these lovely places, and I thought I'll have a sing for these people, and they said come to Vienna and we'd love to support you and nurture you as a young tenor, so it was really great. Definitely find the right singing teacher and work quite hard at that, and be involved in as many things as you can, little companies around the suburbs.
Get as much experience as you can.
On stage,
with orchestras, with choirs.
Acting, everything, yeah. The opera world is becoming much more accessible to the public, and I think there's a lot of opera companies who are doing more modern productions to try and get audiences in and to come and see it, like the Metropolitan Opera and places like that now, where they have the HD live broadcast and they interview the singers backstage, and it's becoming more accessible and more inspirational, I suppose, for young singers. On the 5th of February, the West Australian Opera is putting on Die Fledermaus. Yep. It's an operetta, and it's in the Supreme Court Gardens, and it's a free event for people to come and watch. I think they get 15 to 18,000 people per year going there.
Starts at 8 p.m, and it's also being simulcast here in the Northbridge Piazza, as well as in, I think, Bunbury and Mandurah. And it's free, so come along and just see what opera's all about. It's in English, so you don't even have to worry about different languages.
And the great thing about it, Die Fledermaus, it's an operetta, and it's not an opera. An operetta is more lighter, and the characters are they're more humorous as well. So it's more accessible for people who don't know much about opera.
And there's speaking as well. It's not all singing.
My character is, I think he's the stereotypical Italian gigolo kind of. He's a tenor and he's Italian, so. And I think it's Alfredo and Rosalinda, and I think they were lovers back at university in Milan.
Yes.
And for some reason, Rosalinda just took off one day, left him with the cheque in a cafe. And so I think over the last 7 years, he's tried to track her down. He stalked her a bit. And the night of the opera, he's arrived on her balcony, serenading her, and
Yes, and
Yeah.
Rosalinda, meanwhile, has been married for 7 years and is probably a little bit bored with her husband, and then all of a sudden he rocks up on the balcony and she's madly trying to get rid of him while coping with her husband, who is also potentially going to be unfaithful that evening. So it's quite an exciting night for all concerned. David's character probably has more scope to be naughty in this, in this case anyway. I think I spend most of my time trying to fend him off, but I definitely have a few opportunities myself. We'll see how it works out when we'll get together and start putting it all together.
Okay.
So we're currently about to do Die Fledermaus on the 5th of February at 8 p.m. in the Supreme Court Gardens, and would love for as many people to come along as possible and then join us for the rest of the season in WA Opera. We're doing Tosca, The Tales of Hoffmann and Falstaff.